Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. Welcome back to Glowing Success. Today, I am interviewing Journey Stokes. She is a content strategist, specifically working with a lot of beauty professionals, massage therapists. She is a medical massage therapist herself, has a lot of experience in the industry. So today, we're going to be talking all about content strategy. So if you have a hard time showing up online consistently or attracting your right ideal client, this is the episode for you. So without further ado, welcome, Journey.
Thank you so much. I love that invitation.
I
That
love it.
that intro is just like so beautiful.
Aw.
Yes, I just love this so much. Helping health, beauty, and wellness practitioners show up online.
Yeah.
It's been something that I've been focusing on for the past couple of years now, and like it's a new love. Starting off with being a medical massage therapist and not sure if I can ever do anything else beyond that.
Yeah.
I can say that I'm just so dedicated to this and I just love seeing people grow.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Well, you gave a little bit about yourself, but if the listener doesn't know who you are, maybe just give a little bit about your background a little bit further. And yeah, what inspired you to start doing content strategy and kind of stepping outside the treatment room a little bit more and doing all that?
So I'm Journey Stokes. I was a medical massage therapist full time. I've been doing massage since 2011. And what inspired me to move forward to help people beyond the table was in my prime, I would say, because I did experience a mild burnout. I noticed that I had a lot of LMTs coming up to me asking me how to grow their business. And at the time, it was like, well, yeah, sure. You can have feedback on your website, or I would do this, I would pivot here. And I was like, I should start receiving money for this, like not in a pushy salesman type of way. It was just seeing that there was a silver lining to my expertise. And so after my burnout, I took some time to really just reflect on what I wanted to do beyond massage. So I took a year to really spend time like gardening and just focusing on that discovery of what I could do next. And I started off as a social media manager. And then I started to pivot into helping people just really show up online by teaching them how to produce content that's going to be profitable for themselves. So that's how we ended up here.
I love that. I mean, it all comes from your experience. And I love that too, because once you take them underneath your wing, they know that like you are speaking from experience, true experience. And I love that. So I'm a
Yeah.
big believer in that. I'm a big believer. There's so much we can learn on our journey. So I love that. So today, content strategy. Okay. So many people have issues with this, including myself. So I'm hoping I'll learn something today too. But so obviously beauty professionals, we wear so many hats, right? Like not only do we have to actually show up in the treatment room or at your chair or in your room, like you just have to do so many things nowadays, including social media, there's just so much. So I will say, like, for a lot of people and probably any listener, maybe you can resonate with this. It seems overwhelming, right? Like, and it always gets pushed to the back, right? Like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll start that next week, or I forgot to video that today, or I forgot to. So what is your biggest, I guess, advice for somebody that's feeling stuck when it comes to putting themselves out there on social media?
I like to tell people to start with the knowledge, time, and expertise that you currently have. Because a lot of times I think that it's so easy for people to get caught up going down the rabbit hole of seeing what social media gurus are teaching and finding a lot of tips and tricks when it comes down to showing up online. Getting caught up in feeling like you have to do so much is the very thing that keeps people stuck and stagnant. And so if you have a certain flow to showing up, whether that is you are creating just simple videos, you are doing more things through Canva, or you are finding a frequency that is not 7 days a week of posting, I think that is a good place to start, because when you're trying to do so much, it makes it feel more like a chore and it's not fun anymore. And showing up is just enough for your ideal client to be able to see that you are dedicated and that they can start to move through that journey and work with you. Sometimes people just simply need a reminder that you still is in business, and not just simply showing up is the very thing that could hold you back from being in front of your ideal client.
I agree because like a lot of it's just about consistency, right? Like
Absolutely.
and then from there, yes, there's strategy and there's ways that you can grab people and there's different things, different techniques for it. But yeah, like you said, I think a lot of it's just about doing it, like getting it done or like however you want. So for me, for instance, I like to do batching. So like I'll just record a bunch of videos in one day or I'll record a bunch of audio in one day, depends on if I'm working on my podcast. So, I think for me, I found that that works really well because once I'm in that mindset, I'm there, I'm in that zone, so to speak, right? Or like once you get dolled up, like especially if you're doing video content, man, you're already ready to go. You're already dolled up. You got your makeup on, whatever you do to get dolled up. Like, so it's for me, I just utilize that time. The other thing that I do is I batch out time in my week. And so Mondays specifically are my admin days. I don't take any of my service-based clients those days. And so I generally will save Mondays for those types of activities. And so that's helped me stay consistent too. Cause man, like a lot of it for me was just in the beginning, it was just about showing up. I think like you probably, you probably hear this a lot from people of like, how do I show up online? And then you're just like, you just have to start. You have to start somewhere. Cause once you like kind of, I don't know, rip off that band-aid, so to speak, like of just showing up online consistently, like it gets easier the more you do it, I suppose. Like, so if somebody's listening and they're like, okay, I've kind of gone past that, like I've showed up a little bit online. Now how is hiring like a content strategist like yourself really helpful? Like I'm assuming like, you know, there is a marketing technique to it. So you can't just be posting videos randomly about random things. Like you really want to post strategically. So like maybe go into a little bit of detail of like how a content strategist like yourself can help a person in the beauty industry show up online.
Absolutely. So once you have gotten to the point where you feel confident that you can show up at a frequency that works for you, now it's a more so about talking to the person that you serve. That is where you start to get a lot more strategic in the way that you show up. And most times, what I often see is a lot of health, beauty, and wellness practitioners target other practitioners. And I get it. It's just like you consume this type of content. So shifting away from over consuming other practitioners' content and start to tailor your message to what your ideal client really need to see. And when it comes down to that, it's like thinking about where your person is at in their current journey right now. So, like for someone who is in skincare, they're likely at the CVS trying to figure out like what's the best product for them. And these are things that you can start talking about in your content so you can get them to understand that they must know like what their skin types are, and how to choose the best type of products. And the same with massage therapists. Like a person is really stressed, and start talking to the place that where they're at right now in terms of like what that looks like for them, because that is what going to activate a person to say that, oh man, this person is very knowledgeable. I really need to like start paying attention to like them more and start to prioritize my self-care more, because I'm seeing just where there's a gap in between like my self-care routine, and it's all because you are tailoring your message to your ideal client versus talking to other practitioners or just putting up random content just to post.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all about like narrowing your niche and speaking to your ideal client.
Mhm.
Now, if you're listening and you're like, I don't know who my ideal client is, I would definitely spend some time on that. Like, what are the services that you really connect with? So, I know personally as an esthetician, we have so many different services that we learn. We also have so many different services that we can do once you're licensed. Like, so it's kind of like very broad sometimes when you're first starting off in the industry, especially like, and especially if you go to like a big spa or salon, like they're going to ask you to do as many services as possible, right? So it is hard to kind of narrow down your niche. So I will say like spend some time doing that if that's where you are on your journey. But I really love that and painting that picture for the client because that client journey. I should make a game of how much we're going to say your name in this. Um,
I love it.
I love it. But that client journey is important to think about. Like, where are they starting? Why are they consuming that content? Like, or the algorithm, why is it showing you that content? Right. And so like you really that's so true. Like we have to think about like, okay, what's going to attract them in? And then once you start like making that content of saying, okay, really what you're doing is not only you're painting a picture of like what you do and who you are, but you're really building that trust factor, right? Like you're telling that person like, oh, I am an expert in this, I know this, I can take care of you, this is where you are in your journey, I totally know where you're at on your journey, but like I'm inviting you into my space. And so I think that's like how I've kind of approached social media. Like, and you totally knocked on the head too of like we tend to make content for like
Mhm.
other professionals, which definitely could be working if you are like in our both of our cases. So like you're a content strategist, so like we're talking to a professional. I'm a business
Mhm.
coach, so like I am talking to the other beauty professionals. But if you're a service provider and you're trying to attract clients for your services, you want to talk to those clients and like yeah, meet them where they're at, so to speak. So like if you are trying to transition your client to professional skincare that you specifically sell, you have to talk about what it's like for them to come from a Target, CVS, wherever they're purchasing their skincare to purchasing it with you. So yeah, we have to
Mhm.
think about that when it comes to our strategy. I will say like it's so much more helpful too when it comes to your time and your energy that you're going to put into content strategy, right? Like cuz that's where I like resonate with finding your ideal client is like you're not going to waste as much time and effort if you're actually directly talking to who you want to attract, you know? Um
Absolutely.
so like when people hire you, what are the steps that you take with your person? So like so if a company hires you or a person hires you, like kind of what does that look like? Cuz I think like if somebody's listening and they're like, "Man, maybe I need to hire a content strategist, like I'm ready to take it to the next level." Like it can be very intimidating to hire somebody. So like maybe kind of showcase what that could look like.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I always just want to solidify, do you want me to do your social media or do you want to learn how to do social media? Because sometimes there is a little bit of confusion when people come my way. And it's either because that's how they perceive me as just a social media manager that's going to take it on, which is understandable because I do both, and or they want to learn how to do it for themselves. And so once I solidify that, either step, I would need to know like what are their business goals and who it is that they want to serve. So I really get into like how much money do you want to make? How much time can you dedicate towards creating content on social media so that way we can make it happen? And then most of all, like who it is that you serve so that way we can start working together on your messaging because the bulk of what I teach, while I can show you how to make a fun reel or to create good Canva graphics for your Instagram slides, it is more so about your messaging. And this is the area that we spend the most time because I really want to make sure that you are outlining your client's buyer's journey. I want to make sure that it's so easy for a person to say yes when they see your content. Like, oh my gosh, this person knows so much that we map out like how you can start to tailor your message to make it very clear that you understand what a person is going through, that you can show them that you have the solution to their problems because this is the bulk of what we do as service providers. We help people with a problem. So I help people to create better content so that way they can get more clients. That is a problem that I help solve. And people who are in skincare, you help them to overcome their acne problems. You help them with choosing better products. People who are massage therapists, you help them to relax or get a lot more consistent with how they maintain in self-care, because there's a gray area to saying that you can treat a person or help them to fully overcome pain, but you still help them manage their pain or their stress levels and things of this nature. And so really fine tuning who your person is, so that way you can start to shift the way that you communicate them with them, and it's easy for their person to book with you. I go through all of the nuances of helping a person to create content that is so strategic that it becomes so easy to just put up something because you know exactly what to say. Like, I basically take the guesswork out of like, what am I going to talk about on social media? Because we're so dialed in to exactly what that is for your person.
Yeah, which is so helpful because like I was saying earlier, like when you're a business owner especially, or even if you work for a busy salon or spa, it just seems like it's so much as out there, right? And like you said, there's so many people online talking about this and talking about that strategy and doing this and you got to watch that, and so you can get really diverted easily and not make any progress because you're not doing anything. So I love that you really solidify their message, because that to me is kind of where we cross off the path, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's like, I don't know what my message should be. I don't know what I want to focus on. I don't know. And sometimes it's just easier for a person on the outside to see what that message clearly should be. I am a true believer in this because me as a business coach, I have been coached in my career and I utilize my business coach and I utilize everything that my business coach says. And some of it was just like so obvious that I couldn't see it because I'm in it. Right. Like we're
Right.
we're in our businesses, we're in our heads, we're in our books, we're in our treatment room, wherever you want to visualize that is up to you. But we are in it. And so sometimes it's so hard for us to get outside of it to see like, oh yeah, well, this is what you probably should talk about, or this is your message, or do you want to attract this type of client? So I love that you really focus a lot on that. Now, for me, I've also heard people say that we should really just focus on one social media platform at a time, get really good at that platform, and then you possibly can move to other ones. What do you feel about that?
I wholeheartedly agree. There was a time where I was trying to focus on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and that was a little overwhelming for me. I am predominantly on Instagram, even still to this day. I keep telling myself I need to get back on LinkedIn. But focusing on one platform allows you to understand the ins and outs, and it keeps you dialed in on just creating content, so that way you can create a frequency that works for you. Because what happens outside of just one platform is it's just like you have to tailor the content to that said platform, because there is a difference. Like, the way people consume content on Facebook is very different from how they consume on TikTok. And so if you're going to be on multiple platforms, you have to be diverse in the way that you create your content. And if one platform alone can be overwhelming in terms of you showing up consistently, then it's just really important that you just focus on one. And I like to say it's either one of two things. You're going to choose the platform that is easy for you to create content on, or you're going to choose the platform where your ideal client is at. And I know that like people are everywhere, but if you are doing more products, I would say like Instagram and TikTok is a good place to start when it comes down to selling that,
Right.
or maybe Facebook ads. But if you're really just trying to do things such as like coaching beyond the treatment room, or
Mhm.
the things, I would say things like Instagram or LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So it just
Mhm.
really depends. Like, for a massage therapist, I would honestly say that you shouldn't sleep on Facebook, because
Right.
most of the people who are going to pay you are between the ages of 35 and 60, and they're
Yep.
still on Facebook. And
Right.
so, like, yeah, really thinking about where your people is at
Right.
is really a good thing. And what I love about Meta and or Instagram and Facebook is that you can cross promote, and the content can easily still be consumed as one. And so if you're on Instagram, you can still send your content to Facebook and still have a
Mhm.
presence there. And that's what I love about that platform.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, and I agree that like it does take some time to get to know where your clients are at. So is this something that you do help your clients with, of like figuring out which platform? Because I assume that you have clients that come to you that are just like, I don't even know where I should be. I don't know what I should say.
Yeah, I
Where should I
will.
go?
I will. Like, I've done tests with people. I'll be like, okay, what platforms are you currently on? Let's just start
Okay.
there and let's create some of the same style of content so that way we don't have to worry about the stress of diversifying the
Right.
content. And wherever you get the most bites, likes, attention, that's where we're going to dial in at.
Yeah.
And some people really do discover that that's Facebook.
Right. And I was just going to say that, like, I've kind of dipped my toes into every different social media platform. I tend to live on Instagram myself just because that's where I like to consume. But I'm
Mhm,
definitely interested in TikTok. I'm definitely interested in Facebook groups. Like, I'm definitely, like, so I try
mhm.
my best to kind of go all around just to see, but it's all about those analytics, right? Like, see, keeping track of, like, okay, I got really good engagement on this. I got really good engagement on this post. And I'm guessing that's something as a strategist you also help them with, is like keeping track of those results, making sure those results are actually going the direction that they want. And then if they aren't, we can always pivot a little bit. Like, I love that, because that feels so comforting that, like, you kind of hold your client's hand, right? Like,
Yes.
I'm not just gonna like up and leave you and just give you like a few things to look at and then bye. Like, I feel like a content strategist, like, part of your job is like kind of fostering that relationship with not only your client, but fostering that relationship with their client that they want to attract. So we need to look at all assets and all facets of that, right? Like, so I
Mhm.
think that's so cool, because yeah, once
Yeah.
again, if you're listening and feel overwhelmed, you probably just need to hire a content strategist like Journey. But I will say, like, so once you have figured out who you're attracting, right? Figured out what is your message, what content do you actually want to wrap your message around, and then figuring out like what platform you're going on. I think at the end of the day, it's just more about consistency of that, right? So like figuring all that stuff out in the beginning is great, and it sounds to me like you walk your clients through that. And honestly, once you start getting traction in those places, it's so cool to see it. So like, maybe share with the listener a little bit about like some successes that you've seen from people actually focusing in on their social media content.
Absolutely. One of my clients, she was so shy about being on camera that she was actually the same person that we did one of the tests with on being on Instagram and Facebook. And so we just created very simple content like B-roll. And B-roll is just really like you can record yourself just sitting on the couch and or going for a walk, just taking a sip of drink, or just in your treatment room cleaning up or something of that nature, and we just put meaningful text over your content. So that way it's like it's not so much time being put into like the creative aspect, but just more so of being the content and being present. And when we got her into flow of taking pictures and taking quick snippets of her service and little b-roll videos, we noticed that she got a lot more attention, a lot more eyeballs on her content, and people were starting to say, "Oh, I really need to book with you." And over the course of time, after about a good month and a half, that's when she started getting bookings. Within 90 days, she was starting to see that she had an influx of people coming in. Like this one week in particular, she had um, two people end up booking with her for a massage and facial package. And throughout that whole time, she just had consistent bookings, and so much to the point that she hit about $700 in one week. And that was just so mind blowing to me, seeing that she was just so nervous. And within a couple of weeks, she ended up having a full week of people coming in, $700, and she retained three people because I teach people not only content, but she was also the learning curve for me to see that if I can help a person get people in, I must teach them how to keep people and retain people. So like we worked on all of these things so that way she can get the most out of the time and effort that she's putting in on social media. So she is one of the biggest success stories that I like. While I
Mm,
have helped people in so many other ways, it was just seeing where she started from and being so nervous and
yeah.
so shy about taking their approach and showing her face and doing all these things. Like when she popped out and just started to show her face, because she didn't do a lot of talking.
Right.
So we didn't even get to that yet. She haven't did any talking to camera videos, and she still had this success. So that's one of the
Wow.
most memorable, client experiences that I have to this date.
That's crazy. I mean, and see, if you're listening and you're like, I'm shy, I don't want to do this. I don't even want to talk about it. I want to hide underneath the blanket because, social media can make us do that. I will say there is a way, and you can start to be comfortable and you can start to show yourself. And because people, like you were saying earlier, like that, you need to show up, you need to keep on showing up, because that's the only way you're going to get in front of those people that you want to attract. And that's the only way your content's either going to be shared, liked, all of the things, or if the algorithm shows it. One interesting and maybe taboo topic, I don't know, is what do you feel about paid ads when it comes to social media? Because I do feel like I am kind of half and half. Like, don't get me wrong, I love having organic content and kind of growing organically, but I do think there's a time and a place for paid ads. And so, you, as a strategist, like, what do you feel about paid ads?
I'm just gonna say you hit the nail on the head when you said that there's a time and a place for it. Because I'm not opposed either. I tried doing a quick little ad in this business. I've ran ads as a medical massage therapist, and I'm totally with it. Where I'm at when it comes down to really truly executing on it now, so I mean more so nowadays, is making sure that your organic content can still get people to book with you. If you are not seeing a consistent wave of inquiries, I would focus more so on leveraging your organic content first and then start to pivot into ads. Like, it just has to be something of clarity about what you do, how you help people, and who you serve on your organic content, as in your most recent 9 to 12 posts before you start doing paid ads. Because what happens is, I've been through the customer's journey myself by seeing other people do ads, and what I see is that if you are running an ad and I'm sold, right, I may not be sold enough to the point where I pull the trigger and bring out my credit card to purchase yet. I might want to think
Right.
on it. I might need to build trust with you. And so I'm going to hang out in your followers.
Yep.
And if you're not posting consistently in your organic content, then you could lose me, or I could just sit and wait, right? A lot
Mhm.
longer. And so I think that before you get to doing ads, you really have to just solidify your latest post to be tailored to what you really want a client to see. And it must mirror the same potency of what that ad is.
Yeah.
Because if a person is sold on your ad, they
You have to
must
have
feel,
the rest of it,
yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Like, and you really want to have your messaging down. That's what I'm hearing you say, is like, you really
Mhm.
want to have that messaging to the point where you're like, I am solid on my messaging. I know the type of things I want to attract with my messaging, like, but I think the ads really could help a lot in different ways, because sometimes it is hard. You could have the best content, you could have the most likes, whatever, and the
Mhm.
algorithm will still be tricky. So I think ads, kind of one of the things that I figured out with ads is, like, you can kind of work through the fuzz, so to speak, on social media.
Mhm.
You can obviously present yourself to people, and there's a lot of different ways to use ads, but like you said, there is definitely time and a place for it. I've learned that from personal experience,
Mhm.
and so don't rule it out, people. Don't rule it
Mm-mm.
out. And your
Yeah.
content strategist will help you with that. One of the questions I want to go back to actually is, so in the beginning, you said you help people in a couple different ways, but well, many different ways from what we've been listening to. But but one of the things that you like to ask your client is, do you want that? Like, do you want me to do your social media, or do you want me to help you? I think that's really cool, because there's definitely people out there that are probably like, I just want to hire you. I want you to do everything. Here you go. That kind of thing. So
Mhm.
maybe walk through the listener of like what each of those looks like. So like, if I hired you, let's say, and I want you to do all my social media, what does that look like compared to like you just helping me do my own social media?
Break down both, you say?
Yeah, if you could.
So when a client comes to me and they want me to do their social media, it it can be very let me see how can I. So in the beginning, what I like to do is really just sit with what their goals are. So I really need to know where they are at and what they want from their social media, because I'm taking on and I'm talking as if I'm them, especially if they're a solo practitioner. I have worked with people who have team members as well, but I have to maintain like a brand's voice. And so it's really important to know like the structure and the flow of what you desire from your social media presence. And so knowing what services are that you want to sell, knowing as much about your ideal client and what they really need to understand to opt into this service is really important, because then that helps me to come up with a strategy in which I can come up with a strategy like it's nothing. That's why I think it was so easy for me to pivot and say that I want to focus more on the strategy outside of just doing social media management. Because once you tell me what your ideal client is going through and what services is going to be a good match for them, I can come up with content like really, really quick, like within a day, no more than a week. And from there, it's just more so about seeing where you are in your comfort levels to what type of content do you want to create? Are you comfortable with going live? Do you want to talk on camera? Are you ready for that? Can you create B-roll? Would you be comfortable with me posting on your behalf, doing more Canva graphics? Like, I really need to know, and I'm really all about balance. So I would just need to know like what that customer's journey look like, so that way I can tailor the content strategy to your personality and request content that way. Because I understand that we're busy and there's certain times where you're just not ready to do certain things on social media yet. And so I just honor that in the beginning. And if I'm
Yeah.
teaching you, it's the same thing. Like, I start with where are you at right now? So you don't have to think that like, oh, I can't get my words right. I can't do this. Okay, we have to start with doing more B-roll, or you may need to say less. So that way
Mhm.
you don't have to worry about stumbling across your words, or just really practice writing more captions versus doing more lives and speaking things. So I start
Mhm.
everybody where they're at, because I started off the same way, even as a content strategist. Like, I had to relearn all of the things that I did growing my massage practice. And in my massage practice, I go live, I post content, I do all of the things that I teach. But it was kind of like how you say, like, we have to like really, step outside of ourselves and get that insight by having a coach and direction and things of that nature to be able to grow into where we really want to go at. And so I just really think it's important to just start where you're at in terms of your comfort levels, your expertise, your knowledge, so that way you can just look back 6 months from now and just like, man, I used to create content like that. Oh my gosh, I'm amazing now. Like that's how I want it to be.
Yes. Well, and I like that you have both of those options, because I'm sure that like sometimes people are going to realize like, oh, I really actually just want somebody to do this for me, and I can passively kind of either take videos, take B-roll. Now, with that being said too, like, do you ever go to your clients' locations and do video of them, or do you prefer to have them do video of themselves and you kind of guide them of what videos they need to do? Like, how in detail does that go? Because I could totally see some people who are listening, like, say, I want somebody to come to my spa, take videos and pictures of me, like a couple days a week, and then they can come up with content. Or I could see people being like, hey, I'm out of state from you, but you tell me what to record, like, and then you can create the posts around that. So, like, does that, is that something that works with you, or is that something that like your clients kind of, obviously everybody's different, but I could see this kind
Absolutely.
of being a question?
Yeah. If they're too far away from me, typically I'll just give them, the rundown of what type of content to create. Unless there's something arranged where I could drive to them, fly to them, or what have you. But locally, yeah, like I definitely will pull up, and we can really
Cool.
strategize on what type of content can I record on your behalf? Because a lot of times, too,
Mhm.
that helps people be more comfortable when
Yeah,
there's another person present and can just like really just help
guide
them
them.
to, yeah, guide them and like really fine tune what that in video could look like. There's definitely room for that. So yeah, it just depends on like what the package was and the
Right,
conversation was about
right.
and in the distance. But yeah,
Okay.
I do it all.
I love this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you're listening, you should have so much knowledge now. I feel like, Journey, you shared so much about how people can show up online consistently, where your message is, what you can do with a content strategist like yourself. I mean, there's just so much. And then the growth that can happen from it, right? Like,
Mhm,
I'm a big believer in try different types of marketing, try every type of marketing. I personally love in person marketing just as much as I love social media sometimes, but social media definitely has been one of those things where it's harder to learn at times, right? So I think, market in so many different ways because you just don't know what that ideal client's going to either share, look at, or how they're going to book with you. So I think this
mhm.
has been so much good information. It sounds to me like you really take care of your clients. It sounds to me like you are, I'm here for your success kind of person. And so I love that too, because that kind of it gives a sigh of relief to everybody, right?
Absolutely. I really just like seeing people grow. I don't care
Yeah.
if this I've helped two people who have not posted in either months or years to
Mm,
start posting consistently. And to me, that's the win. Like, of
yeah.
course, I want to see you tell me that you're getting clients and that you hit this income goal and XYZ. But sometimes it's the little things, those small shifts that just make the biggest impact. And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Well, Journey, thank you so much for sharing all this knowledge with us today. Where can people find you if they're looking to hire you, if they're looking to follow you, and so forth?
You're very welcome, Heidi. Thank you for having me on today. This was just such an amazing experience. I am currently on Instagram at Journey Stokes LMT. I'm predominantly there. That's why I post consistently. And so, yeah, if you're interested in learning more about content, I have a lot on my feed for free, and I would love to chat with you.
Yeah, and I see that you have a link in there as well. So obviously click on that link. And I also see that she has a free content idea guide, you guys. So if you're interested, definitely check her out on Instagram. Of course, I'll have everything posted in the show notes. So you can just go to the show notes and click away and it'll take you right there. But thanks again, Journey.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you liked that episode and found something useful or a tip that you can use immediately. If you are wanting more marketing tips, business tips, or anything like that, I have a lot of resources on my website. So I have PDFs that you can download for free. So look in your show notes. There should be a link in the show notes that you can click on and it'll take you right to my coaching website. And thanks for listening.